Hey, what's up? I'm Jordan Harris, and this is Sports Truth. So, I've got a whole lot to say about this Miami Hurricanes North Carolina State WolfPack game. So, I really don't even know where to start, to be honest with you. I've got a lot to say about the previous video that I recorded, which was about the Tyler Van Dyke situation. And all I want to say about that right now is I told you so. All right. I hate to be one of them dudes is to say I told you so, but in this situation, I gotta be. There was a whole lot of going back and forth with the fans, Miami Hurricanes fans, about if he should continue starting or if they should start maybe the freshman. All I can say is I told you so. But we'll get into that in a little bit. First, let's just get into a recap. All right. So Miami Hurricanes again. They lost to the North Carolina State Wolfpack. The North Carolina State Wolfpack lost 20-6. Another long sigh. 6 points. They scored 6 points in a college football game. College football, you see people putting up 40, 50, crazy numbers. Hurricanes scored 6 points. With all the talent that they have, they can only muster up 6 points. And I've got all kind of topics I want to talk about, but let's just finish this recap real quick because there's so much to talk about today. So, Tyler Van Dyke, 21 for 38. I'm not really going to go over the North Carolina State stats. Sorry, I'm just going to go over the Hurricane stats because that's what I'm talking to right now, the Hurricanes fans. So, Tyler Van Dyke, 21 for 38, 173 yards, three more interceptions. Mark Fletcher Jr. played pretty well, 23 carries for 115 yards, and then Jacoby George was a leading receiver with 5 receptions, 59 yards. I don't even care to go through the scoring summary. The Hurricanes had more of just about everything: total yards, passing yards, rushing yards. Didn't have more yards per play, but as you can see, they have more just about everything else. And obviously they didn't have more points because they only scored six of those. Six points. Okay. So, okay, I'll leave this up. The first thing, let's get into all of the things I want to talk about. There's actually three things I want to cover. The first thing is Tyler Van Dyke. All right. In my last video, if you didn't watch it, I'm going to do a quick recap on that. The main point of the conversation was, I know it's probably an unpopular situation or unpopular opinion, but I think that we should sit Tyler Van Dyke for the rest of the year, just call it good, actually for the rest of his career at Miami, and just say, we appreciate your help, but your last game was your last game here. And then we just bring in like Emory Williams or somebody else and just play them the rest of the year. Even if it's a red shirt situation where you don't want to lose a red shirt, sorry, you're going to lose a red shirt. If you're good enough, you probably won't stay here 4 years anyway. So I say throw Emory Williams in there, let him finish the season out. Tyler Van Dyke, you sit on the bench for the rest of the year. Maybe you don't even travel with the team. Maybe you don't even suit up for the games. But your season is over. We're going to help you find a new situation next year. If you want to take a stab at the NFL somehow, go for it, or we can help you find a good transfer option. But I think shutting Tyler Van Dyke down for the rest of the year is the right thing to do. I think playing him right now is a disservice to all of the coaches on the staff. I think it's a disservice to all of the players who are trying as hard as they can, who are lifting weights and going to practice and studying film and doing all that, and then trotting Tyler Van Dyke out there and watching him do what he's been doing to this team. It's terrible. Like, if you ask me, so I've been a fan for over 20 years now, a Hurricanes fan for over 20 years. This is the worst quarterback play that I can ever remember. And I've watched Ja'Cory Harris. I've watched Robert Marve. I've watched Kyle Wright. I've watched Brock Berlin. I've watched all these quarterbacks. This is the worst. And I don't mean the worst quarterback, but the worst quarterback play that I can ever remember seeing playing in a Hurricanes uniform. The worst. I don't want to hear about Tyler Van Dyke's injuries. Everybody's saying his fingers hurt, his knee is hurt. If he's out there, he's fine. He's fine enough. I saw him scramble and run for like 10, 15, I guess it was like 10 yards, something like that. His knee looked just fine on that play. I don't want to hear anything about his injuries. I don't want to hear about it. The issues that I'm seeing are up here. If anything is injured, it's in here. If you ask me, it's not his fingers, it's not his throwing arm, it's not his knee, it's all in here. And that's why I think it's important to just sit him down for the rest of the year and do something different. I don't care who else they put in there. They could put Jacoby George back there and have him run around in circles, whatever. But Tyler Van Dyke got to be done. The reason why is because his confidence is shot. It's done. His confidence is shot. Like, I saw him today in the third quarter tonight playing against NC State. He had a tight end that ran and sat in the middle of a zone. He just sat there with his hands up, and Tyler Van Dyke airmailed it. He was only like 7 yards down the field. Threw it right over his head. I'm like, okay. I never even played high school football. I promise you, I could make that throw. That was crazy to me how he overthrew that. He was only 7 yards from here to there. Crazy to me. Again, in the third quarter, I saw him, Tyler Van Dyke, with extreme happy feet, back there dancing for no reason, just dancing, seeing ghosts apparently. Nobody was even close to him in the pass rush, back there dancing. And then he overthrew Jacoby George in the flat. He was probably 7 yards away from him, but he wasn't down the field. He was to his right, to his direct right. So I'm like, if you underthrow George 7 yards away from you, and you back there dancing, looking scared, nobody's coming towards you, and then you overthrow a tight end who's just 6 or 7 yards away from you in the middle of the field, what are we doing, man? Like, how are you a starting Division I quarterback playing for a big school like this? And it's frustrating to me because he's shown us that he has the skill set and he has the abilities, like physically, to do all this stuff. We saw him a couple years ago when he filled in those last 4 or 5 games, how good he looked. Like, he has the physical skill set, but bro, his mind is gone. Like, his football mind is done. He had, I think, 6 completions at halftime. I think he was 6 for 17 at halftime. And if I'm not mistaken, I didn't look at any stats, but it feels like every throw, instead of it being down the field, it was to the left and to the right. It was all screen passes. It's all he was doing. He was doing a quick little screen pass to Restrepo or a quick little screen pass to George, but that's all he was doing, was snapping the ball, looking left, throwing it there, or looking right, throwing it there. He was not throwing it down the field. I mean, to me, and then like as the game went on, it looked and felt like every throw down the field was going to be an interception. It was either going to be an interception or it was going to be really close to being an interception. And I know there's 22 positions on the field. 22 positions on the field. That's if you're not counting special teams. There's 11 on offense, 11 on defense. Everybody contributes to the game. I understand that. But I firmly believe that Tyler Van Dyke is the reason why the Miami Hurricanes lost this game. And I will go to my grave believing that. What a lot of football fans don't understand, like, you'll see people talking about this quarterback is going against that quarterback. And the argument against that statement is people say, well, that quarterback doesn't play defense against that quarterback, so how are they going against each other? The thing is, when you have a quarterback on one side of the ball who you know is going to move the ball and you know is going to put points on the board, you behave a lot differently. You play far, far tighter than you did if you know the guy on the other side of the ball is either going to turn the ball over or the guy on the other side of the ball is not going to move the ball up and down the field. You know they're not going to put points on the board. It allows you to play more free. It allows you to call plays that you typically wouldn't call in a tight game. So when Tyler Van Dyke is out there and he's not moving the ball, you know he's turnover prone, you know he's going to fumble or throw an interception. It allows the offense on the other side, so it allows NC State's offense to call stuff that they would not call if they were down 14 or if they knew Miami was going to put up 38 points. Because then they have to play a totally different game that's a lot more tight. But they are out there playing so free because they knew they couldn't. They knew Miami wasn't going to put points on the board. So I believe Tyler Van Dyke is the reason why they lost that game. I really do. If he was able to move the ball, like if he was able to hit open receivers like I saw all over the field today, if he was able to do these simple things and build a lead, NC State would have gotten uncomfortable and started calling plays that would have resulted in more Miami turnovers or, causing the Miami defense to get more turnovers and handing the ball back to the offense. But it just didn't happen. I want to talk. The second thing I want to talk about. First thing was Tyler Van Dyke. The second thing is the offensive coordinator. I know people are going to kill him for this. They're going to say, this fool only put up 6 points. What happened? He had all this magic at the beginning of the year. Now he can't even put up 6 points on the board. The thing that I will say to all of those people who are going to kill him for this is that it's not his fault. At the beginning of the year, Tyler Van Dyke was playing a totally different game. He wasn't overthrowing everybody. He wasn't making what the heck was that kind of throws. He was actually playing in a system, or he was actually calling plays in a system in which he trusted the quarterback. That's the main difference. He was playing in a system in which he trusted the quarterback. So that means he was able to call a play that would say, look at this read. If this read isn't open, go to that read. I'm going to pull up a play real quick because I just want to show you something. And I want you to tell me what you would do if you were the offensive coordinator and your quarterback was doing stuff like this. You just tell me what you would do, because I watched this game and I was like, I can't blame the offensive coordinator. Like, look at this. This is Tyler Van Dyke dropping back, looking at the field, and he throws it right to the middle linebacker who's been sitting there the entire play. He didn't come out of nowhere. He wasn't a defensive lineman who jumped out of position and scooted back and surprised him. This is a guy who was playing spy the entire play, standing in the middle of the field. If your quarterback is throwing what the heck throws like that all game, what would you call? Look at this. He's standing right there the whole time. And he threw it right to him. Zero didn't even have a chance to catch that. If number 11 here, if 11 in red didn't hit this ball, then the other corner would have intercepted it. If 11 in red didn't hit this, then you've got that guy who's going to intercept it. Look how he closed in on that. Look, he upset because he was thinking that was a pick six for me. He mad at 11 for ruining his play. So if you have a quarterback who's playing like that, making throws like that, showing their comfort level is at a 0, their confidence level is at a 0 the entire game, would you call conservative stuff or would you call aggressive stuff like you were calling at the beginning of the year? If it were me, I would probably be calling some pretty conservative stuff, because I'm like, this dude is not going to throw 5 interceptions today and make me look crazy. I would rather just hand the ball off every play like we've been doing. There was a play I want to talk about. Maybe some of y'all saw this. Maybe this is going to be an issue for a lot of y'all, and y'all going to try to kill the coach and whatnot. There was a play with it was 10 minutes and 30 seconds in the third quarter. We had the ball, and my wife was watching the game with me. She knows nothing about football, but I said, look, 90% of football teams are going to throw the ball if they're losing and it's 3rd and 8. 90% of the teams in college football are going to throw that football. What we do on 3rd and 8, on like the 30-something yard line, we ran the ball. And I know that would make a whole lot of y'all mad. I'm sure y'all thinking, what is this dude doing? Why is he calling these stupid plays? The reason why he calling those plays is because he knows his quarterback has trash confidence right now. He's thinking, I might as well just go ahead and run it, get some points on the board, and we'll be fine. We got to a situation where it was 4th and 1, and we didn't get that 4th and 1 because the defense sold out on the fact that they knew we weren't going to pass it. They knew it was a run. They had all of their defense on the line. Everybody was in the box. They didn't even have a safety back there to try to make sure they catch a quick slant. They had none of that. They had one-on-ones everywhere, defensive alignment across the front line. 4th and 1, we didn't get it because they knew it was a run. I kept showing, again, my wife's watching the football game with me. She knows nothing about football. But I was like, you see these two defensive players here? They're usually way back there trying to make sure that nobody throws it over their head. I said, you notice they're in what we call the box. They got 8 or 9 players in the box every play. Why? Because they know we cannot throw it. They would beg us to throw it so they can intercept the ball. Anyway, so offensive coordinator, I think we should give the guy some credit, honestly. He's playing with one arm behind his back. The other team knows what's coming. Our offense has to be predictable because if he puts it in his quarterback's hands, he knows it's going to be an interception. So I think we should give him more credit than we are killing him. Like, I've been seeing people kill him all over the internet. I don't think we should be. I think we need to give him some credit because what's happening is not his fault. It's just not. He's playing with one arm behind his back. His quarterback cannot make simple throws. His quarterback's confidence is shot. Third thing I want to talk about is NC State. So I want to talk about the opposition. First thing was Tyler Van Dyke. Second was the offensive coordinator. Third thing, NC State. With this team, well, in sports in general, when you lose, sometimes you lose to a better team, and you can just live with that. It's going to happen. Sometimes you put your best effort out there, and the other team is just better. Today, call me a sore loser, but today was not that. Not even close. I look at NC State, and let's just say this is Madden, and they had teams ranked or rated. NC State, as far as college football rankings go, it would be like a 73 probably. A 73 out of 100. Or 73 out of 99, whatever. I think Miami is more like an 84, talent-wise. So 73 to 84. Again, I showed the stats at the beginning. The majority of the stats were leaning towards Miami, whether it was total yards, pass yards, all that, leaning towards Miami. The one issue was at quarterback. That was the one issue. And I honestly believe that Miami has a better running back group, better defensive line, better offensive line, better defensive secondary, better linebacking crew, better wide receivers. I think Miami is more talented in every single aspect of the game. Our secondary, Kinchins and Williams, probably the best tandem in the NCAA, like in all of NCAA. They forced turnovers today and got nothing back for it. We forced 2 turnovers and we ended the game with 6 points. It's crazy. It's so bad. It's ridiculous. But yeah, sometimes you lose to a better team, but NC State is just not the better team. Miami had better just about everything except play from the quarterback position. Yeah, this was a tough loss to accept. It was tough. It wasn't as bad as like the Georgia Tech game, obviously, because that was the worst loss that I've ever experienced as a Miami fan. But yeah, this was tough. This was tough because I'm sitting there looking at this game and it's so winnable. And I'm saying right now we have D- level quarterback play. All we needed to win that game by 2 scores was like C+ play. That's all we needed. C+ would have had us win by 10 to 14 points. Just play action, hit the guy across the middle of the field. Just like simple stuff. You got to be able to complete more than just screen passes all game. They had the same offensive game plan tonight that they ran for Emory Williams against Clemson, who's far better than NC State. far more talented than NC State. They have a 2-year starter out there with the same game plan of let's just run the ball all game and do screen passes. They had the same game plan for a 2-year starter that some people thought might win the Heisman a couple years ago. Was a Heisman contender at least. That guy had the same game plan that a freshman had against Clemson. That alone should tell you that we need to move on from my man Tyler Van Dyke. I'm sure he's a nice guy. God bless him. But I think he should have had I'm hoping that he has played his last down for the Miami Hurricanes. I know Florida State's coming up, and throwing Emory Williams out there would be like, I don't know, it'll be rough. But I say do it anyway because he cannot play any worse than Tyler Van Dyke. He cannot. And I'm thinking that the team would rally behind him because right now it looks like the team has given up on Tyler Van Dyke. They done with bro. They're done with him. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this stuff. Love to hear your thoughts. Looking forward to reading your comments. Excuse me. We have a goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It is November 5th, so we have 2 months to get there. About 60 days. 1,000 subscribers, so that doesn't just fall on me. That falls on you all as well, helping us reach that goal. So please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Also tell your friends, share it with your friends, send it through text message, do whatever you got to do to get the word out. But we're going to be uploading videos about Miami Hurricanes football. We're going to be talking about pro basketball, pro football, a little bit of everything. It's just giving y'all the sports truth. That's what we're here for. So I appreciate the time. I appreciate you listening to me. God bless. Take care. Peace.